Well, good morning, Savannah, Georgia. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone out there this morning. We're with the vulnerable community one more time, bringing you all kind of information that you can use in our community. We are here this morning. We were supposed to have Chef Wilcher with us, but he had an appointment that he could had to keep. So we're going to talk. We brought on Miss Giovanna this morning, and we're going to talk about some interesting topics this morning, along with Sister Natavia Marbley. We'll have everybody talking this morning. Uh, but we're going to let y'all introduce yourself. Go ahead, Miss Giovanna.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Giovanna. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I just graduated Georgia Southern University, the Armstrong campus in Savannah, Georgia, as a theater major minoring in Africana Studies. I am an actress, a writer, a director, and a feature innovator and showstopper in the industry. So, yeah.
I heard all of that. Go ahead, Miss Miss Marbley.
All right. I'm just excited to get started. I don't really have any small talk to start with, but I just want to jump right in. What do you mean by you a showstopper?
Well, I have
What's
been
that
acting.
term? I never heard of it. Okay.
So a showstopper is a person who, when they hit the stage, when they sing, when they perform, everybody just stops and looks. It's a showstopper. So, I have been acting. I've been singing since I was 3. I've been acting since I was 7. So, I've been in so many choirs. I've been in so many theater companies like Star House Entertainers, Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. Um, I I have been singing and acting since I could learn how to talk. And yeah, actually, so I went to high school in Martha Ellen Stillwell School of the Arts. It's one of the only performing arts high schools in Clayton County, and I believe it's also one of the top schools in Georgia as well. So, yeah.
Impressive, impressive. So, I know that you're just getting started, you're graduating and so can you tell us a little bit about what will be some of your endeavors in the future, future endeavors and anything you like to share. I'm listening.
So one of my first acting roles was Halloween Ends. I had the opportunity of doing that. I believe it came out in 2022, in the fall of 2022. I do have a small featured role in a short film that will be coming out soon. I actually have that movie premiere coming around in May. Love Over Everything. I'm not sure how much I can speak on that, but
Okay.
the more information I know I can put out, the more I'll get to y'all. Um, I have been getting into writing, which I never really saw myself as a writer before, but it took me when I got into college. I had a playwriting class and I wrote a play called Boulevard. And it was basically speaking on gentrification, family ties, and just being on the block and being on the boulevard. I was born in Decatur, Georgia. And one thing I can say about Decatur, Georgia, where I grew up, especially downtown Decatur, where I attend my church, Lily Hill Baptist Church. One thing I can say is that Decatur does not look like the Decatur that I grew up in because of that gentrification. We
Mm,
see so many things just going around. It seems like more compacted than it's ever been before. I like to tell people that I feel like they're trying to make Georgia the new New York because they're building apartment buildings in places where I'm like, you really building that right there? So with Boulevard, you see two brothers and a grandmother. And the grandmother has had that house for a very, very, very long time. And I believe we all know on this show how important it is to have that land and how important that house, grandma's house, is. And so you have a brother who is a contractor who works for this contractor company, and they need that house in order
Mm-hmm.
to build the building that they're trying to build. And you also have the brother who isn't as successful as the contractor brother. And, they kind of go at it because, again, you have someone who is seen by the grandmother as like the person who is doing everything, who's doing well. And then you have the other brother who can't really get a job.
So like a Cain and Abel thing, kind
In a
of,
way, it is
or
like that.
prodigal son, kind of.
Hmm. Hmm. And
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This the typical, and it's a lesson to be learned from it.
it's a lesson to be learned.
But ultimately, what about grandma's house? What's the do they sell the, what about the grandma house? Like, is there a pitch? What's the I guess I'm trying to see what actually is the
Mhm.
outcome.
Well, I think
So,
what she said, what she's saying, it's a typical case of what goes on
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. Uh, you've got family, you've got heirs property, and somebody wants to sell it off, and somebody wants to keep it, and it's just who wins out because
mhm,
we don't know the value of our property anymore, and that's a big issue that we have because we don't know the value of our property. We had, to give you a good example, we had a man sell his property because he thought he would be able to buy another house. He only got $40,000 for his property.
mm.
You can't go nowhere and buy a house for $40,000 now. So it's a mystery of how they try to do people, especially people of color.
Mm-hmm. And that's happening a little bit everywhere too. We have a
Mhm.
situation here where people are forced to move out, and it's a little payout, and they're pretty much homeless now. So yeah, that's something to think about. So okay, that just kind of depressed me. Let's pick
Oh,
let's do a pickup. So I'm always looking at the future. You the future, right? Like, obviously I'm
yeah.
older than you. You're gonna be probably here longer than me, more than likely. So how are you impacting the world? What are you planning on doing to impact the world?
I want to create plays, create films, especially that is made for us, made by us, meaning creating more shows like Abbott Elementary who speak on situations that are going on within society, especially Black cultures and low income communities, but it's also a comedy, right? So there are ways to talk about situations such as gentrification, such as schools not being able to get the laptops they need, get the electronics they need, get the resources they need, but also make it lighthearted and make it into a comedy. Bringing our history in the forefront of films. I find films to be way more impactful, especially within our community, because it's more affordable. All of us are not able to go to New York, are able
Mm-hmm.
to go to these theaters where they have to pay $200, $300 to get a seat, and sometimes a seat all the way in the back where you're not able to even see the emotions or the depictions clearly. And also just being able to teach people how to make their own table, because it most of the time we have these situations where we're waiting for someone to give us that seat at that table, and in the industry that it is, sometimes is most of the time it's not like that, where they're like, oh, come on and sit at this table. You find it very hard nowadays. That's why you see Issa Rae, who made her own table, Quinta Brunson, who made her own table, but also giving people, young women and men like us, the opportunity of learning how to do that and giving us a seat as well. So, yeah.
Okay, and how old are you?
I am 23 years old. I'll be 24 this
Oh,
year.
oh my God, so much fire. You have anything to add, Mr. Irwin?
Yes, it's a funny thing. You said you wanted to make enlightenment, but our true story, the story that needs to be told, is not anything comical about it because our
I
history
agree.
has been taken away from us by writers who don't know the story. They just know what they want to say, but they don't tell the real story. And our story is so important. That's why we lose so many of our kids because they don't know the story, and we don't
Yes.
tell them. Well, we as parents don't tell them the story. So that's something that we have to look at too. Sometimes the lightheartedness is good, but we have to get the real story and tell the real truth about it.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I was just using Abbott Elementary as an example, right? So, we do have situations where the most of our history that we got Hidden Figures. We have even Harriet. I know we spoke about that earlier with Harriet and movies like that, but I believe we can go even further back, right? So I think the farthest in history that we have when it comes to film is possibly Roots, starting off with
Mm.
Kunta Kinte, and what about way before that, right? Because we have depictions of like King Tut, but we all know
What we know? I don't
we
know
all know
anything.
we all know King Tut was black. Egyptians were black, but we
Oh, they
have
were.
but
Okay.
we have these situations where they're depicted in ways that don't look like how it's even painted because they're trying to
It's
erase history,
The
right?
authentic, so that they're taking away the authenticity of it,
Mhm.
and it's being washed in some kind of way where it's not the real history in a sense.
Mhm.
It's watered down history in a sense,
Watered down.
or fabricated, or whatever you want to, whichever way you
it's,
want to describe it.
it's the history that they want you to know. That's what it is the one that they want you to know. They don't want you to know the real story. They would
Mhm.
rather tell you so it would make them look good. That's what it is.
And that's why it's important for us to educate us, correct? And
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
and we like to be entertained, and what better way to do it through film and all of that, because we're going to watch something quicker than we read something, I guess.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
then that's a whole nother subject about our reading. But and I can't ask you directly about any ideas or anything, but so let's talk about some of the people who are making waves with I don't know, capturing the black audience. Let's just start there, right? So we live in a different world now, so I'm going to mention AI, and we're getting ready to come to a commercial break. I don't know if we're going to take it on a 20 hour or wait 20 minutes because we started a few minutes late. But however, I want to kind of bring the conversation into, yeah, we can think of this and understand how it has contributed thus far, but we are in a new age where there is AI manipulation and other things that factor in. So, how is that going to, I mean, are you into AI? I mean, you're 23, so
Personally, I'm not into AI. I believe AI takes away the integrity, sincerity, and the validity of art of work. In order to tell a story, it has to come from something. I believe it has to come from a place. And whenever I write and I create my stories and I come up with my ideas, it comes from a place within me. Even when I'm writing songs, it comes from a place within me. And I believe that's a part that AI is not able to understand, and it's even gotten to a point to where AI is starting to repeat itself. I saw a video or article that said that AI has gotten to a point where it's starting to become repetitive, right? And that's because AI does not have the human experience. It doesn't interact with people every day. It's not going to meet a John or a Jessica, or I'm starting J names. It's not going to meet a person in a grocery store who has maybe an experience that you never even know about, right? Um, I just don't see AI as an artist. I don't see AI as a creative. People can use it as such, but where is the realness in that? We have to be real within our art, and AI is just not it for me. So.
Well, AI is coming into all factors of life. I can't see using AI as a minister of the gospel. I can't preach a sermon that AI writes because I can't feel what AI writes. Like you say, you have to come from the heart, and you have to come from the Holy Spirit. And AI can't communicate with the Holy Spirit. So I agree with you there. It is something that man his intelligence is growing, but sometimes we have to look back and know that we have to rely on ourselves and our own human aspects to make things work right. Uh, I won't even ride down the street in a car, in these cars that are driven by robots. You know, what happens when somebody runs a stop sign? What happens when somebody steps out in front of the car and the robot is gone? You know, going haywire. You in trouble.
Like, did you
You
see
know,
that show? There's a show with I hope I'm saying his name right. Ali. And all of the Teslas, it was like the end of the world was happening. It was produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. It was on Netflix, and all of the Teslas were literally running into each other, crashing into each other. And so that's kind of an example of how I see AI, because in a way, how the Tesla works is artificial intelligence, right? So you need that artificial intelligence in order to work that Tesla in a certain type of way. And so with that, I just see it as something that's going to crash, and it's like we're going to depend on it so much. What happens when AI runs out, right?
Well, AI can only so what my Asian friends have made me understand about AI is us. And so it is basically pulling our intellectual properties and storing it up and then being able to just compute it and use it a lot quicker than the average human brain. But I think that we are going to rely on things so much to where we just not going to know ourselves. We're going to dumb ourselves down by relying on these things and not be able to pick up those natural skills and abilities that we already had and still, have currently and probably will be losing in the future because of the cushion that AI will provide, and then it'll crash. So that's what I think. We just be so dumbed down we won't know how to fix it.
well, let me say this, and before we go to the break, we can use cell phones as a good example. Before we had cell phones, I had 300 or 400 phone numbers stored up in my brains that I can call out anytime I feel like it.
Can you imagine that, Giovanna, keeping 300 or 400 phone numbers in your head?
No.
We did.
I could call
I would have had a good notebook.
We did.
Let us go to the break, and we'll be right back on this interesting conversation this morning. We will be right back with you. Go ahead and go. Let's go to the break, y'all.
Hi, I'm Katie Brewington and I'm running for Magistrate Court Judge. Magistrate Court is often called the People's Court because people represent themselves or are pro se litigants. Magistrate Court handles civil claims up to $15,000, dispossessory proceedings, pre-warrant applications, and good behavior bonds. I'm a great candidate for judge because I have the experience, compassion, and drive to get the job done. I have been a probation officer, a criminal defense attorney, a solicitor, and a municipal court judge, and I will take all of that experience to get the job done. So remember, vote Katie Brewington, May 21st, from Magistrate.
All right, we're back. There's a saying that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and it's real. We have gone to dependent on computers. We depend on AI, as y'all call it. We depend on everything else but using our minds, and that's a big problem. When we used to use our minds more efficiently, uh, things were we used our imagination and we could create things in a better way than we do now. Now we're relying on the computer to create this for us. We're relying on the computer to create that for us. If we had to go through a day like we went through a couple of months, well, about a month ago when the cell phones went down,
Mm-hmm.
you had to figure out whose number you were going to call, how you're going to get to where you were going. These are kind of things that we have to keep stored in our brain and make sure that we have these things and be readily available to us. We have to practice these things so in order to make sure that we keep our mind sharp. If we don't keep our mind sharp, then we tend to lose some of the faculties that we have. So we have to make sure that we keep our mind sharp. And one way to do that is to always, put the phone down sometime or do something and that you don't normally do, that you can use your mind. Let your mind do the creating.
Right.
So think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking about while you saying that, I'm thinking about our brain cells and understanding that after I'm trying to think of the age, but we don't we start losing the brain cells if we're not using them. So that saying that says if you don't use them, you lose it. Like, and that is what that's going to be the impact of AI, because it's we already see the effects, like him using an example with the cell phone where no one remembers numbers anymore. And I can think on an administrative level, the things that we had to do as far as software is concerned. It was a lot of manual things. Now it's a lot of just push the button or click a window, and so it's just like, oh, you don't need that skill anymore. And so those are skills that we're losing all at the same time too, that we're not using, and so it's exciting that you have that advantage, but it's also scary at the same time, because in order to gain, you're losing. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
The old folks used to say you were lazy. Your mind was lazy if you didn't do certain things the right way. And it's come to the point where I can see it every day. Our kids, they don't even do math like they used to do it. We used to have to sit down and they would sit down in front of our parents, and they would have you sticks and toothpicks and all that in front of you, teaching you math. They've got to the point now they don't even let the kids write their names. They don't teach them how to write cursive anymore.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, they don't. I think it's
and
stopped.
they took out phonics. They're now putting it back in, but they took out phonics.
So how?
Because they're looking at it more as a budget, not really the true needs. All they try to do is address the budget, and and somebody who probably never touched a kid is making those decisions from the top, that's cutting off those type of things. Not the teacher's recommendation, but the people from the top, the administrative level, is saying, oh, okay, you know what, this budget for this, let's cut this out. And then they don't do it anymore. And so that's where it's at, and you gotta start letting the front line lead. That's an issue too when it comes to work in organizations. Like there's a lot of people on the front line that know that things can be better, but they can't. So
All right, you said that, but then we have to look back at it like this also. Uh, we put these people who we thought, as you say, on the front line, but it's a choice that we have, and that choice that we have to hold these people accountable to doing things that is going to be productive for us, and then we can take that and if they don't do what they're supposed to, remove them, move them out of the way.
well, let's talk about accountability. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Accountability looks like you have to do some work on the other end too, and that's the problem. We expect them to do it. We don't know how to make them accountable if we don't know what they're supposed to be accountable for. So therefore, we got to read the same things that they read and know the same knowledge they know to challenge and say, "Hey, this is not being done." But if we don't know it's missing, we can't be great accountability partners.
Yeah, it's
But
about that communication. Communication. I think communication is one of the first things that has to be set when it comes to trying to make change within a community, right? Because if you have a group of people in one complex, in one apartment complex, right, and the landlord is doing things that they have no business doing, right? But only a few people know about it. And people are noticing something, but they're not communicating. So there's no true confirmation of, okay, yes, this is a problem, right? And so everybody likes to stay within their own apartments, right? Within this one complex. But the thing is, you have to step outside of that apartment and even step outside of that complex in order to communicate these issues and these problems. Because if you don't communicate them and communicate within each other, then how can anything really get done?
Exactly. The
if
communication is one, but accountability also comes when you're study yourself approved. You have to do some work. I heard a lot of people going on the front line to advocate, but you don't even go do your research first. You don't go get the information first. You just yelling and screaming and not making any sense, and it's never going to be any kind of solution. So I'm saying on that part of where if we're going to be accountability partners, we have to do some work too to be able to be those accountability partners to know what we're asking them to be accountable for.
I agree with you, but I also say that when you when you're holding someone accountable, you have to make sure, like you say, you got to know what you're talking about. But then you have to also remember when you put these people into positions, what the promise was.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not making that promise, then you hold them to that promise. Say, remember, you promised us this,
Mm-hmm.
and if you can't produce us, then tell us why you
Mm-hmm.
can't produce
Mm-hmm.
it. But just don't keep going because if you do that way, they keep going and going and they get farther and farther to the left side instead of to the right side. So you have to hold them and keep them in place. You have to go to them and talk with them, but you have to show up to some of these meetings that they be having. If you don't show up to the meetings, then you can't say yay or nay because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, it's so many different ways to really be accountable, and I just feel like it's all different pieces, all different passions, all different parts, and so like when she was saying the communication, that is definitely an avenue as well, because we have to be able to communicate to even get anything done. But everybody serving their own passion is the other thing. I see a lot of people leaping to serve in different aspects because maybe money is available, but not really their passion is matching. Therefore, the quality of the work is not quality. So,
Mm-mm.
that's the other part.
And I believe that's one of the most unfortunate parts when it comes to society today, because again, people do have their own intentions. They only have their own goals, which sometimes does not put the people watching them and the people that the result of it does not benefit the community as a whole, which is something that, like, I see, for example, in films. Not all films have the best impact on its viewers, which
Hmm.
is the reason why I want to do what I want to do, because it's like, they should feel empowered when they watch the movies and shows that they watch. I believe that everything that you watch should have an impact in some type of way, and most of the impacts that you see in the shows, in some of the shows today, they don't have a great impact. They don't.
Hmm.
When I watch it, or let's say when my baby cousin watches it, right? What does he get from what he is watching? Does he
The
feel
message.
empowered? What is the message? Does he feel empowered, or does he look at himself and think lower of himself, or think that he has to go to a lower standard in order to be on the TV, right? So, yeah.
And so what I want to say, you say you're an innovator. What I do realize is, like I told you, I stopped watching TV a long time ago. And so, I'm interact enough with people, and then Facebook is my TV kind of too. Overall, this new thing called streaming is happening, right?
Mhm.
And also people are getting into these skits. So although I don't watch TV, I do watch something every day, and I'm gonna confess. Um, I watch Country Wayne every day. Country Wayne is taking the wave. I don't know if anybody ever really watched him, but a lot of the content is real life content, and they're real small skits. It don't take a lot of your time, 3-4 minutes, you're done. And it's a new wave. People are making money. People are becoming rich like this. So, are you gonna like start capitalizing into that first? Are you gonna do it the old way? Or are you gonna catch into the streaming? I'm just excited. Like,
So I have been thinking about getting into streaming. I'm trying to get into the TikTok wave and just learning how to make and create those skits on TikTok, because all you really need is 1 minute or less.
oh,
Um,
TikTok is 1 minute because Facebook is 3.
so
Okay.
TikTok can go up to 10 minutes now, but most people, when it comes like skits, films, or even just singing songs, I believe you have to capture them really in those first 10 seconds and try to hold them and keep them there for at least that 1 minute. So yeah, I believe streaming is becoming a gateway into and becoming just as impactful as watching TV, because people are scrolling on TikTok for hours, for hours. I can say I am one of
And
them.
I heard the
Okay.
Snapchat for the little younger ones. Snapchat is doing this
Mhm.
thing as well. So,
Mhm.
so the wave is waving for sure. And it's almost like, okay, if we don't jump on this, then the wave's gonna be gone, and you're gonna be looking like, okay, what do I do now?
You're gonna miss out.
And
There's something trending every day. Something trending every single day, and when you
are you
see it,
learning? No, is it trending where you're learning, or is it trending where it's taken away? It's an impactful trending?
um, if it's not impacting, then it's taken away. I would have to say that. But people are making their money off of it, and that I
Well,
think
they
that's.
always have made their money off of it. And this is
Mhm.
what we were talking about earlier with,
Mhm.
certain films. Yeah. I mean, a lot of films, like one of the biggest things, and Cat Williams talked about this on Shay Shay, about all of the black men actors getting in dresses and stuff like that. So, you make your money, but it's the things impactful, when the content impactful, or is it just content foolishness?
Foolishness, foolishness for the most part. And especially when it comes to social media, um, as you from the moment you start on that social media app to scrolling on what we call the For You page on TikTok, right? You end up creating the pattern and the algorithm of the videos that you see. So if you're watching foolishness, if you're watching comedy, right? If you're watching comedy, that's what I'm gonna say. If you're watching comedy, then you're gonna keep getting comedy. But
Okay.
also, I have political sides of TikTok where I watch about Israel and Palestine and government, and so at that point you have to create that algorithm for yourself, which goes into, right, the conversation that we were having before about having that integrity. I do not know who's at my door, but you have to you have to create that algorithm for yourself. You have to want to have that knowledge and get that knowledge, because they can scroll on foolishness and they have that one TikTok, right, where it talks about political endeavors, or a skit talking about schools and things like that, right? And they don't want it. They also have this thing on TikTok where after you scroll after a certain video, it says, were you interested, not interested, or you just didn't care, right? And so the moment they say they're not interested, they won't get videos like that either at all or for a good minute or a long time, until they decide to search up certain topics, and then it might pop up on their For You page again.
Okay, so all that to say, I guess what we're doing right now, podcasting, is that streaming as well? This is streaming.
This is a form of streaming. This is a form of streaming.
Okay, so everything touching YouTube, all that's streaming. Okay. All right. I'm learning, Okay. So then
it's far back in the woods.
What'd you say?
I can't believe you that far back in the woods.
I'm not that far back. I think I'm far back with the terminology more so than the concept, because I know how to do things. I'm real tech savvy. I just don't know how to call it what it is, I guess.
But I think that the streaming portion, when you talk about streaming, when you have people like Comcast who have monopolized the business for such a long time, and especially in our area in Georgia, they had no competition. And streaming has give them the opportunity to reduce their prices to somewhat, but they're still trying to hold that profit margin, But streaming has really, I think, given people the opportunity to have a better entertainment life. When you look at TV, a lot of people look at television and they say, well, that's fine, that's just a bunch of foolishness. But when you get down to looking at the news and everything else, and you start educating yourself, there's a lot on TV that you can, on television, it can educate yourself and keep you educated, but you got to be able to use it. Here we are. We're coming back up on the second break for the day. So we're going to take the second break, and we'll be right back with you.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
All right, we're back. Giovanna, you said that you've been singing since you were, 3 years old, I think you said?
Yes.
Oh,
you're going to sing for us right now? You can sing improv too.
Okay.
That's how I know if you're a singer or not, because everybody be like, I can't now.
No, I can. Okay.
All right, release.
falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus. Oh, falling in love with Jesus is the best thing I have ever known.
Oh my
In his
God.
arms, I feel protected. In his arms, never disconnected. Oh, in his arms, I feel protected. There's no place that I'd rather be.
Okay, showstopper. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. You know how many young people I didn't ask, they tell me they do all this and they can't do it on top. And I'm like, I could be somebody ready to sign you right now. You have to be ready. You ready?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
are ready.
Thank you. It took a lot. It
Man.
took a lot for me to get there. It really took a lot for me to get to the place where I am now. I can even say the place where I was February is not the place that I'm in now. So, you really have to take that step to have confidence in yourself, have confidence in God, and just have that faith to just take that step forward and just go. Just go.
Amen.
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 Somebody just said, "Sing it."
Sang, girl, sang. And somebody just said
Thank you.
amen too.
Yeah.
But
Dang.
wow. So since 3 years old, I'm gonna let Erwin go back to what he was saying, but I just needed to be a believer. So you just made me a believer. I'm listening now. Like, so tell us a little bit. The 3-year-old, he brought that back. You've been singing since you're 3 year olds. How did you get started in the church like we normally do, or where did you?
So I did get started in the church with my grandmother at Lily Hill Baptist Church downtown Decatur.
You said that. Okay.
Lily Hill Baptist Church downtown Decatur. I was in the children's choir. I was in dance ministry. My grandma made sure that I was in the choir and that I was doing anything and everything from any church plays.
Mhm.
And my mom gave me vocal lessons with my vocal coach, Mr. Maurice. And ever since then, I've just been singing and I've been loving it. It's been ups and downs, but trust me, it's there's a goal and there's an end and there's a result. Not sure where yet though, but I know God is really taking me there. So I'm just doing what He tells me to do and just going
If
forth.
I wanted to follow you, is it a way to follow you? Do you have
Yes, of course. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Javana. It's
Okay.
IamJavanna. I'm actually
Okay.
going to type that in the
Okay.
comment as well. On TikTok, I'm Javana. I am. On Facebook, Javana Grace. That's the name my grandmother gave me. Javana Grace. So Javanna, Grace, Grace. You can follow me on Facebook there. I literally do everything. I just won a competition on this app called Spill. It's Spill's Got Talent, and I got first place in that. So you can follow me on Spill as well. And I am Javana. I like to keep it consistent throughout. So yeah, that's where you can follow me and follow me on my journey. And I would love to catch up with anyone and everybody. So
Well, I got a question.
mm-hmm.
Why do you think your mother called your grandmother named you Giovanna Grace?
So what I like to say is by God's grace, I am here. I wasn't supposed to be here, y'all. The doctor told my mom couldn't hold me in or like when she was pregnant. So the doctor told my mom, you're gonna have that baby and there's nothing that you can do about it. And but I'm still here. My grandmother prayed over me while I was in my mom's womb, and I am here. I can even say in February, by God's grace, I am here. In February, I got into a really, really bad car accident where we missed the pole and we I didn't have to be here, but it's by God's grace that I'm here, and I only came out with one injury that is now fixed. And so, yeah, it's by God's grace I'm here, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful every day. So
Well, it's good to know that you're blessed.
I am. I
He
am.
has his hands on you. You know, so many of us don't realize the power of being blessed.
So much power. It's about having that faith of a mustard seed. That's really what it's about. And I think that's something that people have to remember. Is if you have that small faith of a mustard seed, that's one of the smallest seeds, y'all. If you have that faith of a mustard seed and just believe that, because God has brought you here for a reason. You were born for a reason. You were born here with a purpose, to have a purpose, right? And so you have to walk in that faith every single day, no matter who your creator is or who you see
Mhm.
your creator as. I see him as God, right? But whoever your creator is, you have to believe that that creator has brought you here for
Mhm.
a reason, right? And it's by his grace that he gives us life every single day, that he wakes us up every single day, right? So you have to walk in that faith, right? Because you have a purpose, you have a blessing. It's by God's grace that you are here. So
Yeah, you keep on, you're gonna make me say amen in this.
I mean, I feel like having church up in here, and we only have 10 minutes, but
Hey,
I mean, you definitely have to be
yeah,
a vessel. You have to understand. What I used to do is try to do things on my own, but I understand now, regardless of what, I'm a vessel, and when God wants to use you, He's going to use you, and it's nothing you can do.
nothing you
You
can
can
do
either
about it.
submit and do it, or you can do it the Jonas way. However you want to do. You want to go ahead and get swallowed up by the whale, then go right ahead, but you're going to be used.
And you're gonna
And
learn that lesson too.
I went through that series, The Purpose Driven Life, and it really infused in me, the understanding that God already, when He designed me, He had that purpose. So I thank you for reminding me of that, that all of us are uniquely made and we're here for a purpose, but remembering that we only have pieces of the whole, nobody has the whole but God. And so we just, do our part, stay in our lane, and hopefully make that impact we're supposed to make.
but
And it's not
Javonna,
saying that life isn't hard. It's not
Mm,
saying that life isn't hard, because life is hard. But God's
mhm,
purpose for you is greater than that. It's greater than
mhm,
any trials and tribulations. It's
mhm,
greater than that. It really is.
mhm.
let me say this to you and now, and with all sincerity, if you follow Jesus, you're gonna have some ups and downs. But the thing is, like you said, you have to have faith and
Mhm,
believe in. And
mhm.
Giovanna, you sparked some real
Yeah,
comments.
that's all.
You
That's
sparking some real comments here this morning. I'm just glad that now I'm glad the sheriff didn't show up.
But I believe in divine appointments. So when me and her were talking, I was almost like, oh, I don't want to end this conversation. And so it just fit free for it to be able to spill over into the show. And it's a wonderful thing, and we talk about, God and understanding that everything is not going to be favorable. I had to speak to a guy the other day. He was taking food to some hungry kids in a rough neighborhood. And the unthinkable happened. His car got shot at, 2 shots. One hit him, one hit his 12-year-old daughter that was in the back seat. And then he started questioning, like, well, what, I do everything right. I don't understand. I said, remember the servant Job, but he just went calm. He got
Hmm.
calm. I was like, this didn't say we're gonna have all pleasure. You gotta feel that pain too. I said, but go to God and ask him what to do with that experience. I don't know what to say at this moment because I'm not in that seat, but I have been through similar situations, where I still kept persevering and I didn't let that deter me from the walk that I was walking. And I'm hoping that, whatever I gave him, that he keep on continuing and not discourage him from helping anymore.
Well, when we have faith and when we are children of God, we have to always be able to testify. Giovanna testified this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the results of her testimony with the comments that we're getting. We want to say good morning to all of our listeners this morning because you all are important to us. We try to bring you all the information we can on the vulnerable community, and this just happened to be one, like you said, or the divine appointment this morning. because it was supposed to be another type of show, and it turned out it was just made to be this way. So
Mm-hmm.
we're glad that it happened. We're glad to be
Yes.
here with Giovanna this morning. Uh, I got 8 minutes. Giovanna, can you give us just another quick song, and then we're gonna let
Another
you
quick song. Uh,
Yes.
give last comments.
okay, I'll switch it up a little bit. If I could, I'd give you the world, wrap it all around you. Won't be satisfied with just a piece of this heart, my angel, my angel. You're my angel, my angel. Dreams are dreams, some dreams come true. I found a real dream, honey, when I found you. You're so strong and tender too. My angel, yeah, 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 my angel. You're my angel, my angel.
Wow.
Man, man, boy, I feel the angel presence right now. Like this has really been a blessing. That I needed this morning. Like this has
I'm glad I
strengthened
could
me
use it.
this morning. I needed this morning. I didn't know what we were going to talk about with the sheriff this morning, but I needed this. You know, I did. And
I'm glad I could do that.
wow. Wow. We got what about 5 minutes to wrap up the show, but anything else you want us to know about you, Javon? I mean, you just seem to have so much, so many gifts.
Really just look out for me. I'm gonna be so honest. My hands are literally up and saying, okay, Jesus. Quite
Yes.
literally. Um,
Hallelujah.
just please follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. Um, you can follow me. This isn't. I tell people all the time, this isn't the end. Like this show right here, this isn't the end. Just follow me, and I hope to see y'all as well. I sing, I write, I direct. If you need a song written, you can DM me. I'm also a songwriter. Um, you need a script, let me know. If you're filming anything and you need an actress, I'm here. If you need a director, I'm here. A PA, I'm here. Um, let's change the world. And remember that you can change the world. Any idea that you have, any song that you have, write it, do it, because it's in your mind for a reason. You have that purpose for a reason. So please go out and do it, because you're going to change the world. No matter what, don't listen to anybody else. All you need to listen to is God, because they don't see the road that God is taking you on. They don't see the island in the end where he's saying, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." They don't see the result. God sees the result. Keep it between you and God, because only you and him know. Okay? Yeah.
All right. It's Natavia.
I don't have too much to say after that, other than I'm in awe right now, and I'm just happy to know my heart is feeling good. I recently left for high school and I'm not working in the schools anymore. So I kind of miss the young people. But I'm actually running to the young women and men now, which is actually a little bit better. And so just seeing you, knowing you only 23, seeing you with so much wisdom, seeing you with so much talent, seeing you with just so much just fills me and knows that people young people like you, our future, we do have a chance in our future. Our future is bright, and we don't see young people doing what you're doing and using your gifts for what it's intended for. And so I'm happy that you're keeping God in it on top of it. It's one thing to be talented, but it's another thing to keep God in it. And so, same way you just encouraged me, I'm encouraging you to just keep God in everything you do. And you can't do
Thank
nothing but be blessed. You already know what God grace feels like, and it's amazing. And so, just keep on going full swaddle for real. That's all I have to say.
you. Thank you.
We started off talking about AI.
We've been everywhere today.
We've been everywhere.
It led us to a good point. We started off talking about AI, and we talked about how we have to use our minds. We can't use AI and our minds at the same time. And you said something just now, Miss Natavia, that struck me, and it is that our young kids, the young people coming up behind us, we have to give them a chance to show us what they know. We can't always look down on them and talk down to them. We have to let them show us what it is that they can do. At times, we have to step back and just take the back road and let them have the front road, so they can show off to us what they do. Sometimes it's best for us to be on the back end and say, well, if you do this way, you can come out with a better outcome, but not try to tell them how to do it. Let them try to do it on their own. And if they have problems, be there to support them and the help that they need. We want to say good morning to y'all all over again and thank everyone for being here with us. It has been a morning to remember. Miss Giovanna had really given us some enlightenment this morning that we hadn't had in a long time. She's brought a new light to the vulnerable community. So with that being said, we want to try to give you all the great information we can, and we will be back with you next Tuesday morning. We don't know what the sheriff has got in mind, but we will try to get him on between now and next week. Y'all have a blessed weekend, and we will talk to everyone next Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. See y'all. Bye now.
Bye.
I like that.